Great. So when you open up Alteryx, this is the screen that you get to see, right? You have the this is the exact user interface in which you have different sections. So firstly, this is how these sections looks like. You can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the top side, where you have all the tools, right? This is known as the tool palette. So in case if you need to make an automation of a macro or a analytical application or a workflow, simple workflow, you need to choose the tools based on their functionality from the tool palette. Now in Alteryx, there are approximately 200 to 300 plus tools that are available. However, they are logically grouped under different sections. So here, if you see here, in and out, right? So all the tools that are corresponds to the input, like reading the data or pushing the data to a database or DBC or an Excel file or a CSV file or an application, all are available here, right? When you go to preparation, so if you need to do simple Excel operations like creating a formula, doing some data cleansing, filtering some values in a particular column, doing some imputation like average and so on, creating a record ID, or deselecting and or deleting certain columns from the data, all those kind of activities are done from the tools that are present in the preparation, right? Now when we go to join, the join are basically when you have to analyze multiple data sets. Say you have to do a lookup, right? In Excel we always do a VLOOKUP, right, to fetch value from a different sheet corresponding to a common value. So things like that, when you need to do, you have to use the join tool or the join multiple. When you need to append data in a union tool, and so on and so forth. So based on the logical operational activities of the tools, they're grouped under different sections in the tool palette, right? Any questions on this tool palette?
And once we started using it, so we'll get to know
Yeah,
more.
of course,
But
we'll do a deep dive. Of course, we'll do a deep dive on the tools, but just to explain the interface here, right? Next, the big chunk of white space that you see is where you develop the workflow. So this is known as the canvas. So as we all use white canvases to draw pictures. This is the white canvas that Alteryx provides you to create the workflow. So what you do is basically, you drag and drop a tool in the canvas, then you go and drag, say, another tool that you need, right? And then you link it with one another, and so on and so forth, right? Now each of these tools, right, when you click on, say, input tool, if you see the left hand side of it shows up in a certain manner. If I click on the filter tool, the left side shows up in a certain manner. So this left side of the user interface, which is known as the configurational panel, it helps you to configure each and every tool that you use in the workflow, right? So when you create a workflow, what you do is you simply drag and drop a tool from the tool palette from whichever group you wish to, and then you go ahead and configure that tool, and again then you move on to the next tool, you link it, then you configure the second tool, then you link it, you configure the third tool, and so on and so forth. And then finally you take the output in a certain file or a physical file or an ODBC, right? So all this configuration that you need to do for these applications are available on the configuration panel, right? And since each tool has a unique operation to perform, the configuration panel will also change for each and every tool, right? If you see, for filter, it's
why
very
are you calling
simple.
this as a why are you calling this as a tool?
So this tool, like Alteryx in itself is a tool. Within that,
Mm-hmm.
it's we mostly we call Alteryx as a software, within which we have certain tools like input data, output data, text input, so on and so forth, which helps us to create the data pipeline,
Okay.
right? So that's why the whole thing is called as tool palette, and the individual components are known as tools, right? And each of these tools can be configured in the configuration panel on the left hand side. Okay. So three sides we have covered till now: the tool palette where all the tools are there, the canvas where you create the workflows or the data pipelines. The left hand side is the configuration panel where we configure each and every tool in a certain manner to meet the objective of the workflow. And then on the right hand side below, right, just below the canvas, you have the result window. When you run and configure a window, the results for each output of the tool can be seen in this configuration, in this result panel, right? So that's how the the different components of the user interface looks like. All right,
Yeah.
any question on the user interface?
No, no, I'm good. Only question is, this favorites and recommendation is our thing, right? So those will come based on what we are working, and input,
Correct. So this,
output, and join, parts,
yeah.
transformation in database reporting. So all those are tools which you want to perform the operations on top of the data.
Correct, correct. And based on how frequently you use a tool, it will get popularized in your, in the favorites or recommended and so on.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. What is this
Yeah,
computer vision or text mining?
yeah. So this one are basically for the, the advanced analytics ones. Like if you start from machine learning, text mining, like if you want to create a word cloud or search something, sentiment analysis, those can be done using these particular tools, and then computer vision, right? But please, keep in mind that machine learning, text mining, and computer version are not part of the normal licensing that Alteryx gives. So if you see here, this is just for your team purpose. I am just explaining this one. So you will have, see, I have two licenses, right? One is the Alteryx designer, which is the standard Alteryx operational license that you get, wherein you won't get access to machine learning, text mining, and computer vision and other advanced ones. For this you need to buy another license, which is the Alteryx intelligence suite. Right now, Alteryx intelligence suite will enable all the advanced analytics applications that are available in Alteryx. Okay, so this is a separate license that you get for advanced analytics.
No.
Okay, cool. Now, I will slightly throw some lights on the advantages of Alteryx, and why Alteryx has been used so vigorously in the analytics industry of late, right? See, when we talk about something like an ETL, right, where we essentially extract the data, transform the data in using any particular application which was previously like an SSIS or a SQL, right, and then what we do is we go and push that data to a reporting database from where we create the dashboards and everything for the visual interpretation of the data, right? Now, what Alteryx did is, all those coding, that was required as a part of the transformation of data, they converted that into a drag and drop interface, right? Say, for example, if you need to filter a data, right, you have to write a select clause, and then you have to put a where condition to it, and then write it, right? Here, you just need to, bring the drag and drop the filter tool from the tool palette, and just mention the column name, and then just mention the value that you want to filter or unfilter, right? In the business front, right, people who were not so technical, maybe the finance team, right, they will have the accounting minds, right, they won't have those technical expertise, or the say the audit teams, right, they did not have that much of technical expertise. So for them, this adaptability of this tool to perform the same functions like how and what an Excel does or a SQL does, just by using the drag and drop options, became very popular and become very easy to learn and develop and deliver, right? So that is where the Alteryx came into picture. Along with that, when it comes to data processing, Alteryx fairly has a faster computing speed compared to SQL, or like the Microsoft SQL servers, and also it has a host of connections that are readily available, or data connectors that are readily available for integrating Alteryx with your applications like a Salesforce or a SAP or a Oracle or a JD Edward or any accounting system or reporting system that your organization might have. All right. Uh, so this is given that the inbuilt connectors that were present for Alteryx, given that the ease of learning this tool and working with this tool, and also given that the host of diversified tools that this particular application had, right? So in SQL you cannot do a say something like a text mining or something like a predictive analytics, right? So in Alteryx, under one single umbrella, you can do normal transformation, you can connect with multiple data sources, you can perform advanced analytics, you can perform certain level of reporting, like not interactive reports as Power BI or Tableau, but still fair amount of reporting, bar graphs, graphical representation can be put in. And then of course you can dump the data to multiple ODBCs that are available in the world. So given all these features coming across in under one single umbrella, Alteryx became the go-to tool for most of the analytics industry. All right. So this is a short background of why Alteryx has been been so popular of late. Right. Now coming to the next piece of it, and I will quickly take you through the training timelines that we have. So basically this training that we do is on a weekend basis, so I have just marked it on the weekend, like weekend 1, weekend 2, 3 and 4, right? But we'll follow the same flow of content, but maybe the timeline might be a bit different. So we'll first start off with the introduction of Alteryx that we have already done, work through of the on the basics of data transformation, right? Of course you have a SQL background, so you want to be aware of it, but I will just still touch base on this a bit. Then we'll introduce the first 10 Alteryx tools, right? And then followed by an assignment which are using those 10 tools that you learn, right? Followed by once these 10 tools are done, we'll of course have a doubt clearing session, the assignment discussion. Then we'll go with another 10 tools, and like, of course followed by an assignment, and again a doubt clearing session, and then followed by the next 5 tools, right? So on in total we'll cover around 25 tools. And once we cover these 25 tools, I will give you a project which is again a very detailed one, which will help you to understand and practically implement the tools that you have learned. And then of course for a doubt clearing session and a guidance for certification, right? Now, as you said, right, your core objective would be not only to learn all three, but also to clear the certification program, right? So I have few of the insights from the course certification program. Of course, I will share this with you also for your knowledge. So if I see the course certification program, right, it does not cover each and every tool of the Alteryx application. It will only cover around 20 to 25 of the applications, among which 13% would be mostly on the general designer knowledge, like what is the tool palette, if I need to configure a tool, where do you go, tool palette, canvas, configuration panel, or result window, something like this, the questions would be there. Then 36% weightage is given on the data preparation, followed by data blend and data parse 26%, and transformation of data 25%, right? And again a breakup of this 13, 36, 26 and 25% has been given, like what are the areas that you need to focus on. And of course the training that we have will also focus on particularly on these areas, so that you're also well equipped to go for the certification program. All right. Any
Yeah.
question on the program piece?
No, no question. So,
Yeah, so today, basically, my plan was to give you a basic idea of, what are we going to cover, how we going to structure, and, some insights on the certification piece, right? So
mhm.
that was the plan. So would you like also to go ahead with starting with some of the tools today, or how is it?
Yeah, let's start. Why not? We have 30
Yeah,
more
yeah,
minutes, right? You said 1 hour, right?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, we have 30 minutes, 30 more minutes. Yeah. So see the tools that I have listed here, ones which we would need to focus for the certification piece, right? Along with this, I have certain cheat sheets, certain guidance documents in PDF formats, which I would share with you. Okay. So first tool that we want to discuss is the input data, right? So let's go back to the Alteryx.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Now, Tableau also it has its own data preparation tool, which is Tableau Prep,
Tableau Prep. Yeah.
right? Right?
Mm.
We can build many data. I mean, I'm certified in Tableau, so that's why I know what Tableau can do. The only reason
Mm.
I'm trying to learn Alteryx is someone in the management they want to know what is Alteryx. That's why I'm there. But all these things I can do in Tableau Prep.
Correct, but then the problem with Tableau Prep is limitation in terms of uses with other applications and tools, right? So what happens is whatever you do on Tableau Prep, the final transform data goes into Tableau only, right? And then you start creating the dashboards, right? Now, whatever transformation you do or whatever standalone reports you prepare, Tableau Prep, correct me if I'm wrong, does not push it to an ODBC to get it stored somewhere. Does it do that?
Yeah, it can push it to the table if you want a physical table in Snowflake or Teradata or yeah, you can push it to the table.
Correct. But then again, in terms of certain applications like advanced analytics, the AI ML models that you create, or the spatial analysis that you do, right? Those are far more optimized and easy to do in Tableau, right? And also, few of those AI ML model or the A/B testing or the random forest models are not available in Tableau Prep, right? So
Yeah,
that's why yeah. So that is where
maybe those are not
the
available, but these flows are available. I don't know why these guys are so much interested in getting to know all tricks. But anyways, and
see, if your organization has a tech stack where the dashboarding is done only in Tableau, right? No other ClickSense, ClickView, Power BI is there. Only Tableau is there as a tech stack. Then it does make sense to have Tableau Prep with you, right? But again,
mhm.
tomorrow, if if you completely change to a Microsoft stack, or maybe you have Power BI, which is more cost effective, right? Then or any other ClickSense or ClickView, then Alteryx makes sense, right? To have a standalone ETL platform which will do a data transformation, and then whatever you have ClickSense, ClickView, Power BI, Tableau, whatever data visualization layer you have, you can use that. So that way, of course, you can do it, right? But again, Alteryx is something, I know I am an Alteryx trainer, but I should always, I will still say this: Alteryx is something that would stay for another 3 to 4 years, right? After that is going to be Databricks is the next big thing that is happening in the ETL world, right? Most of the organization will have Microsoft stack, and then Databricks, Azure, and Power BI or Tableau would be the ETL or tech stack that analytics teams would be using it.
Got it.
Yeah, cool. So coming to the first tool that we're gonna cover is the in the input data tool, right? So it present in the in and out section of the tool palette. So this is the input data, right? You can just drag and drop this tool, right? And the configuration panel opens up. Okay. Now if you need to connect it to a data set, the first thing that you need to do is click on set up a connection. Now when you click on this set up a connection, it will open up a host of connections. So if your organization has an Adobe Analytics platform or Amazon Athena or a Redshift or Azure SQL database, whatever, these are all the pre-installed connectors that you already have, right? The Google BigQuery, Salesforce, SAP HANA, and so on and so forth, right? So whatever connector you want to choose, just click on Quick Connect, give the credentials, and make sure the firewalls are open for the Alteryx port to interact with these applications, and then you can easily fetch data from this. All right. For the time being, maybe I would go with a physical file or an Excel file. So what we can do is we can click on files, then we can go to select file, all right, and then maybe from the download, I have I have a superstore data somewhere. One sec. So this is my data. I will just save it simply desktop. Okay. So I will go to the downloads, right, and then we'll select the test data. Where is it? All files. Why it's not showing up? One sec. Oh, it's 76. Okay, so I have this data file here now, right? It's just a physical file I'm importing. I will click on the file, then click on open. Now your file might have multiple sheets in them, so you can go ahead and select any one of the sheets that you want. Say maybe the order sheet you want to import, right? And then click on OK. Now once you click on OK, on the left hand side you will see a preview of the data set. Please note this is the data preview. It's not loaded in the tool till now. Okay, it's just giving you a preview to do some understanding of the data set, like what are the columns present, so on and so forth, right? And then once this is done, you just click on the run button. When you click on the run button, then the tool starts importing the data. And once it's done, if I was talking of the result window, if you remember, this is where the entire data set shows up. Now when I say entire data set, if you see, it's only like 4317 rows out of 51,000 rows are being displayed here. Now this is a question that comes in the certification, right? Like there are what is the capacity of each of this terminal to hold data? What is the holding capacity? So this tool has imported the entire data set, but each of the terminals, the output terminals of the tool, can only show a preview of 1 MB of data. Now, if your 1 MB, if your data set has multiple, columns like 100, 300 columns, then maybe 300 or 400 record would show up. If your column has lesser columns, then more rows will show up, right? Because at the end of the day, these terminals will only give you data preview of 1 MB size, not more than that. Okay, but please, the confusion that people will have is, does it only means that 4317 records were imported? No, it's not that. Your entire data set was imported. Just the preview is 1 MB of data. Just the preview. Okay. Now this is where you import the particular data set. Now, any questions that you have here?
Yes, Nash, you said on left bottom it's a preview, but on the
Correct.
center bottom,
Yeah.
that's the results, right?
That's the result, but the entire result data set won't be shown up. Only the
I get
partial
it.
result data.
I
Yeah.
get it. Yeah, I know. It's basic SQL, right? So when you write select star, you won't get all 1 million records. It will show top 1,000 records. I get it.
Correct. Correct.
But
Yeah.
how come the
Exactly.
results are appearing without you running the script?
No, I ran the script, right? I click on the run button.
Oh, you click on the run. Okay, got it.
Yeah, yeah. So if you see on the log in the result window, you also get the log, right? So if you see started running at so and so date, so and so time, blah blah
Uh-huh.
blah. Then the finished running in 3.4 seconds using AMP engine.
Okay, so now you are saying the data is loaded into input.
Input tool, yes, exactly. So,
Okay, yeah.
all right. Now here, if you see on the configuration panel, you also get to in the canvas I will discuss now. You have something called layout orientation, right? Annotations and connection progress. Now, what is layout direction? So now what we'll do is we will create these workflows like side by side, right? One after the other. It will get connected, it will show up. However, if you want to create the workflow in a top down approach, you can go ahead and select vertical layout. Right now it becomes all top to down approach, right? You connect the next role
Oh,
here,
okay.
right? So depending on how you want to organize your workflow, you can go ahead and select the orientation. Okay, this is one thing. Next thing is annotation. Now what happens is, when now you have say one tool or 5 or 10 or 20 tools, it's okay to, it's easy to understand what are you doing, what does each of the tool does, right? But a typical workflow, right, maybe one of the workflow that I created had 1700 tools, right? So that time what happens, this small boxes, right, it makes the the workflow very clumsy, right? So what you can do is this annotation, you can do a hide, so it becomes more crystal clear. You can of course do a logical grouping of the tools, put some comments here and there. I will show you how to put in comments as well, and then you can create the workflow. However, if you want to show, you can click on show, or show with tool name. Now previously when you did show, it will just show data.xlsx, which is the file name and the sheet name. Now if you want to also highlight the tool name, like what is this tool, right, you can always go ahead and click on show tool name, so it will show you input data. Okay,
Okay.
all right. Now connection progress is nothing but when the workflow runs, like multiple tool will show like 30%, 60%, 70%, 80%. If you want to hide that, you can hide. If you want to show, you can show, or you can only show while running. So that's how you can configure, but generally we give it a show only, so that it gives you an idea of how much data
Yeah,
has
that's
been
what I was
processed already.
thinking because it's too much control for the user to do these things, right? So we don't need that much control. Hey, show the
Absolutely.
progress. Yeah, right. So yeah.
All right. So now once you have this data, say, the next thing that also, I will just click on this one. So what will happen is, if you are using an ODBC connection very frequently, it will get captured in the recent. So next time when you use a similar ODBC, you don't need to go to data source and find it here and there. You just go to the recent one. You will have those listed, and if you can click on them, it will get connected. Okay, this
Yep.
is one thing. Now, this is all about the input tool, which helps you to extract the data from the applications into your into your Alteryx platform. Now, after this,
So
the
what if
tool that I,
what if I have
yeah, sorry.
what if I have 10 different inputs? One is Excel, one is Snowflake, one is CSV, one is SQL Server.
I sorry, I didn't get your question coming in.
What if I have four different inputs?
Okay, no problem. So this is say an Excel file input, right? The next
Mhm.
one, say maybe you have a database, right? So maybe I would go to data source, maybe Microsoft SQL Server. I think I have a database connection. I will
That's
show
okay.
you what.
I'm just asking. So you can
So
make as many inputs
as
as
many
you
as,
want.
yeah, yeah, yeah. as many
Okay.
as many inputs you want to bring in, you can bring in. You just need to drag and drop those many number of input tools and keep on configuring them for the data, for your data sources.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and bring one more Excel for me?
Yeah, sure. So this is the file. What I will do is, I will go ahead, maybe I will bring this same file, but I will bring another sheet, return tab. All right. So the first data set is of the orders, and then the next data set that I'm bringing in shows which are the orders that got returned. Okay. So then
Yeah.
this is the second data set that we have. Now if I run this, you see the percentage showing up here. All right, it's done. Now if you click on this particular one, you get to see the inputs, the previous input that we got in, right? If you click the next one, the the output changes, right? It's just like running two select queries parallelly, right? You
Got
will
it.
have two
Got it.
set of data
So
sets.
on your left there is a middle section, right? Options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
those are more useful in when I'm using Snowflake or any database, or
Correct. So
I can
these
also
are, see, these are, few of them you can of course use, but mostly it's for the Snowflake where you need to mention the table, the API name, and so on and so forth, right? Say for example, you have a disorder data, right? It's a big data, 51,000, but you only need to, or you only want, say, top 100 in a SQL language, right? So what you will do is in record limit, you come in and write 100, okay, and you run this. See, you only have no 100 records fetched in from the source in Alteryx. Okay. The other one is say now you have selected the order tab in the Excel file, right? Say you want to change it to something else. Of course, you can go ahead and choose that. Say area manager. Let's do that area manager thing. Okay. Now let's run it. See, you have the area managers. You will have only 13 records. You had a top 100 given, but your table has only 13 records. Only 13 records
yeah,
will come up.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Next, the important thing that we often use in terms to deal with certain type of data is the start data import online. Now I will change something here in the file. Often what happen, there are two things that will happen. First, there is no header in the data set. Okay, straight away the column values are starting off. Now if I think I changed it a different, move these headers, I will straight away have the names and the regions of these area managers. Okay.
Got it.
Now, when I run this in Alteryx, if you see, the first record becomes my header, which is wrong.
Yeah.
So for that, what you need to do is you need to click on first row contain data. Okay. So then it will say, okay, I will not make the first row as header. I will rename it as say column 1, column 2, and column 3, like that.
Oh, it will automatically.
Yeah. See,
Okay.
it made it field 1, field 2, field 3, and so on.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the second scenario that you might face is you have say data here, say name, region, but on top of it you might have a data description. This file was right, something like this. It is typically a junk line for me. Okay. So what I will do is I will close it. Now if I read that data as is, you see you get something like this. The file was updated becomes your the first column header, if2 becomes your second column header, then you have certain nulls, then the actual column header comes as a row value, so it's all messed up here, right? So what you will do is we'll say the first row contain data. No, it does not, but start data on import number. So here we'll say start data import on line number 5. This is my data here. Now I will run it. See, now it knows, okay, data should be imported from line number 5, and the first row does not contain data, so it has to be the header. So the row number 4 becomes my header, and from row number 5 it becomes my first record.
Okay. So since you are teaching me this, why don't you go back
uh,
to your Excel? I have a question for you.
sure. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, in here, right? So put on C5, put country. Just put country on C5.
Okay.
C5.
C5. Yeah, C5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, your screen is too slow, so sorry.
Ah, yeah,
If you're
yeah.
typing it,
No.
I can't see it. Yeah. On C6, put US.
Mm-hmm.
On C17, put Canada.
Okay.
Okay. Now, the
Flash
file
fill.
which I get is like this, right? So from C5 to C16, it's US.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to
Hmm.
do any functions on Excel. I want to take care of this in Alteryx.
You can do this using the multi-row tool. It cannot be done in the input tool, but there is a tool called multi-row. I will just show you as that as well.
No, that's okay. We can cover when it comes in. But yeah, this is one of the use case I have.
Yeah, this is called known as flash fill. So of course, till it meets a new value, it will repeat the row minus one at value.
Yeah,
So it
yeah.
can be
And
done.
also, can you insert one thing between 16 and 17? Can you insert a row
Okay. Mm-hmm.
and put total on A17? Yeah.
What should I put in?
Just put total. Total
Total. Okay.
B17 20, C17 30 as a number.
Okay. You just put. We want to just put in some numbers like this.
It's not there. On B17, put some numbers. C17, put some numbers.
Oh, okay. 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 Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Now, the line number 17 is a junk line for me. I don't want in my data because I will do the
Mm-hmm.
operations later. But these guys are giving me this. Can this be taken care?
Yes, it can be taken care.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. We
So
can
let
we can go we can go on when it comes in. But that's these are
Yeah,
the
so I
two
think
use
this one
cases
will
I
come
have.
as the next tool. Yeah, no worries. So this is the next tool that I was going to cover. We'll have this thing, right? So what
Okay.
we'll do is, where did it go?
That's okay, Sneha.
This is
Anyways, we have 4 minutes. We only have 4 minutes. So today I learned
okay.
about input and output and canvas, right? So whether it's horizontal or vertical, annotations, which I don't think so I'm gonna use until unless it's a big data flow, right? So
Yeah.
and connection progress always show, and how to import, preview the data, and run the flows just for the
Hmm.
import and looking at the results. From tomorrow onwards, we'll learn some transformations, right?
Correct. Tomorrow onwards we'll start the transformation piece, and also note down all the cases, the test cases that you might have in your mind, so we can just experiment with the tools how we can achieve those. Just like how you showed
Yeah,
two today.
good question.
If you have any use cases, you can just keep it handy. We can of course discuss.
Yeah, good question. So my use case is, so currently I have these many sources in Excel, in Snowflake, right? So I'm actually doing a mashup. I'm uploading those Excels into Snowflake and running the SQL in Snowflake to throw the output. I want to do that in Alteryx. I don't want to import those Excels into Snowflake and run the because I'm wasting too much of time. You see what I mean?
No, I think I'm losing. I was losing your voice in between. Can you come again?
Okay, okay. So I have 50% of the data in Snowflake. Okay,
Okay.
50% is coming from Excel.
Okay.
Okay, what I am doing right now is I'm uploading the 50% data. I'm downloading from a tool, some web tool, and uploading those into tables, the Excel files into tables into Snowflake, so that I can run the SQL operations in Snowflake.
Mhm.
Why don't I bring
SQL.
Snowflake data into Alteryx, and why don't I bring Excel data into Alteryx and run the ETL within Alteryx?
Yeah, you can do that
Yeah. Once I do that,
because
and the output
mm,
will be, I just want, I have output, right? Once the output I have, I want to do the pivots on top of the output.
you want to do what on the output?
Pivots.
Pivots. Yeah, yeah, you can do pivots in here also. In Alteryx also you can do
Yeah.
that. On the final output,
Yeah. That's,
you can create as many pivots as you wish. Yeah, yeah, of course.
yeah. Yeah. That's my use case. So that's what I'm trying to solve here. So I have Snowflake, I have Excel. I want to bring those into Alteryx and do the ETLs and run the output. On the output, I want to do some pivots. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, it can be done. I
Okay.
mean, if you
Yeah.
if you have
Sounds
your
good.
Snowflakes, or if you have your Snowflakes connection done on your system, you can share screen. I can show you how you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I mean, we go through the training, then we can,
Yeah, of
in
course,
between
of course.
30 minutes training or 30 minutes this, yeah, we can actually do that. I know we are on time, but anything else? Uh,
No, I think it's good for today. I think you're able to understand anything you wish me to address.
No, this is good. This is good because I mean I have background on prep, right? So that's becoming easy for me actually.
Okay,
Yeah. All right.
thank you. Bye.
All right.